So here we are yet again, going over some more crazy comments on my video that I made of a cancer activist promoting woo-woo by a guy called Stephen Bamber. And he starts off, as everyone else does, by making a claim and then currently providing no evidence, but we're going to go into that later. Mainstream medicine, doesn't work, mate. that was his opening line. So basically, all mainstream medicine doesn't work. Just gonna let that sink in, because if you've seen a couple of my videos before, or you're new to this one, then you know how crazy these people are. In fact, I've often said to people, who do you think the most, batshit insane people are? And it is these people that are absolutely glued up on these alternative medicine things, because they all boil down to conspiracy theories. And you go check out this guy's thing, and guess what? He's into conspiracy theories. He's in the whole 9/11 conspiracy theory. In fact, he even when commented on another one, I'm just not even going to bother responding to them, because certain people you just don't bother with. And this is one of the people that you don't bother with, because I could show him all the proof in the world about 9/11 wasn't an inside job. He wouldn't believe it, because again, it's part of his core belief system, it's part of his worldview. You're not going to shift this guy. So my response basically to this, to his opening statement, was, and your evidence for this would be his response, all the sicknesses in the world. I can't believe that, to be honest. We have so much medicine right now, at this very time, that can cure all sorts of stuff. I mean, just look at, I think it's West Africa recently. They've just had their first year where they've had no polio. They have had no new polio reports in a year. This is incredibly good. And guess what? This is mainstream medicine. Would this guy care? Nope. Anyway, he continues. You people only want the evidence that suits your view. No, I don't. I'm quite open to new evidence. I'm more than willing to look at any evidence this guy sends. The problem is, when I look at it and I come back saying, well, that's not entirely true, immediately it's like, whoa, you're just, you're using your bias. Well, this guy uses his own fucking bias, because he's so fucking deep in his own, batshit crazy conspiracy theory, big pharma, are gonna kill us all. He can't even see, the truth in front of his own eyes. Just look at what I just said about the polio thing. Does this guy care? No. And the thing is, though, I've accepted people's evidence before. I said in the video, I said that, I've never seen any evidence that, cannabis can, has any, positive, medical effects like, they would for medicine. I said it's entirely possible. And then someone said, oh, but what about this paper where someone uses, and it's not cannabis completely, it's cannabinoids, and it's just a small part of cannabis that they are using, because again, the rest of it is useless. And again, in animals, they've got some quite good results. And I said I'd be quite interested to see when they start transferring this and doing human trials and things like that, what the results would be. Immediately, this guy gets onto me and said, "Oh, well, you're just, you know," and I'm like, what? I'm agreeing with you. I am agreeing with you that, yeah, the paper you show doesn't fully support what you are saying, but it has some good merits to it from what the animal studies are saying. And this guy went, you know, started calling me every name under the sun, started saying, you know, that I was denying the evidence that I was showing. I was like, no, the evidence you've shown me doesn't support, you know, what you are saying, but it's got some good stuff in it. So he continues, when new evidence comes to light that contradicts your worldview, you don't want to know. Well, actually, I do, because I base, you know, my worldview on, you know, the evidence that is available. And guess what? All the current evidence that's available basically says that, you know, all the alternative medicine is complete bullshit. You know, be careful when using dangerous words like evidence. And this guy doesn't himself understand evidence. And I basically replied, you know, so that's a no then, to showing me evidence. He replies, it's very much yes. The mainstream medical profession doesn't work. Again, would he like to show me evidence? No. And I'll tell you one reason why. The absolute arrogance and know-it-all attitude of GPs, for one. I'd trust a fucking GP over you any day, Stephen. I'm sorry, but they certainly have a lot more medical knowledge than you do. I'm sorry, but that's the case. And he continues, governments are hardly going to invest time and money into undermining the medical profession / big pharma. Why would they spend money undermining it? The medical profession is a good thing. It's a good thing. Why is the government going to undermine it? It doesn't make any sense. That rakes in millions selling chemicals drugs to sick, dumbed down people. Much better to keep the status quo, thank you very much. It doesn't make, your statement there doesn't make any sense at all. And, you know, there's all sorts of, you know, government bodies. I mean, in America it's pharma, and in the UK I can't remember what our equivalent is, that, you know, basically tests all these drugs to make sure that they aren't harmful and they aren't doing anything. And there are numerous examples of where the government body has stepped in and said, okay, no, you can't use this drug because it's harmful. Or I'm at a loss for words. But again, if you pointed this out to this guy, he won't accept it. You know why? Because the government, you know, or the government organisations, you know, suppressed his alternative medicine. Why? Because they don't work. They can't prove the claims that they make. And I'm sorry, if you're making a claim and you want to sell that medication as medicine, then you've got to be able to back up your claims that your medicine does what it can do. And in this case, they cannot at all. Hence why they are stopped from basically selling their woo-woo. You've only got the video I did a couple of weeks ago about when the BBC took on a guy that couldn't even answer any of the questions they put to him about his product. So in a rage, he basically stormed out of the interview and then came back and then demanded the tape. It's hilarious. Also, too much focus by the medical profession on the cure, in quotation marks, not the root cause of the illness. Solving the root cause of the illness is a cure. it's not necessary on all the time. I mean, symptom management is what they call it, but it's very, you know, it's what we do. It's what's been used for the last, what, 40, 60 years. Why? Because you look at someone's symptoms and then you can accurately predict what they have. And, you know, naturopaths do this as well. And, you know, I'm going to do a whole video series, I think, soon about, you know, the bullshit, you know, naturopathic doctors say and do. But again, that's just completely ridiculous. And, you know, my response is, so still a no then, because what evidence has he shown? Nothing. The past 3 statements he's made, you know, don't make any sense. And I basically was, well, still a no then. His response to that was, not very talkative, are you? Already explained above why the mainstream are not going to expose themselves. Expose themselves from what? You know, you have government agencies that are main bodies are to, you know, make sure that medicine isn't harmful to the general populace, that, you know, that it does work. And, you know, that they can back up their claims. But it's your side that are promoting ridiculous bull-dickery of, you know, stupid treatments, sugar pills, you know, homeopathy of literally it's water, slightly flavoured dandelion water, that supposedly if you downed an entire, you know, literally, a little glass full of it, it would kill you, when all research has shown that is not the fucking case. And anyway, my response to him is, I would hardly call that evidence, and it's not. What he has just shown is not evidence. He responds, if I did present to you what you call evidence, you would reject it because it's from an alternative site. Here's the problem. A lot of these alternative sites have these extreme bias. I guarantee this guy would post something from Natural News, a website, by the way, that has promoted killing doctors. Real doctors. Not like abortionists, real GPs and, you know, doctors that have actively promoted for people to go off things like, you know, AIDS pills, you know, stop taking your you know, your AIDS medication because that's what's giving you AIDS. That's the kind of, you know, evidence and sites this guy would cite. And there is, yes, there is a massive problem with the sites you do, because they have an agenda, and that agenda is to push their woo-woo medication so that they can make money. Natural News makes a hell of a lot of money off promoting, you know, flavoured water and whatever treatments they're pushing. They get paid to do that kind of stuff. So, yes, of course I'm going to find a problem with it. You know, unless they can actually back up, you know, their claims, you know, with actual, maybe a medical paper that says, yeah, our treatment works, but they can't, because all the medical lab treatments, everything that says they don't work. Anyway, he responds again. This is really about you and people like you who are clinging to your fingernails to hold on to an old order of ways. What? By saying, you know, your new alternative treatments don't work? I respond, then show me the evidence. Why is that so hard? He responds, I don't need evidence to know something is true. What type of evidence would make you happy? Articles, links, or videos? And I basically responded, why not present what you think your strongest evidence? This was about 2 hours ago, and I'm certainly going to make a video of his evidence when he posts it, because it's going to be fucking hilarious. And well, it's just video fodder, really, for the next couple of videos. But again, as I've said before and done numerous videos on these people, and you know, in comments, these are the type of people you are dealing with. This guy, I guarantee you, and he's almost evident, you know, if I would talk to him about, you know, government propaganda, he would claim that he is immune and an expert on government propaganda. But this guy has bought the propaganda that the alternative woo-woo merchants sell, hook, line and sinker. Is he even aware of it? No. Does he care? No, because guess what? It suits his worldview. My conversation with this guy is probably not going to go any further, and I'll be very surprised if he actually does post anything. But like I say, if he does, I will almost certainly be making a video on it. But again, these people have not a single fucking clue about any medicine, how evidence should work and actually be presented, and you know, the standard of evidence you need to, you know, be able to present to, you know, a scientific standard to be able to even be accepted. These people cannot meet at all. Anyway, we'll be going into another video after this, so enjoy.